How is everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. Oh my goodness, the new freaking iPhone update is so freaking annoying because right as I'm like about to go live, like this pop-up comes up wanting to introduce me to all the new features. I'm like, oh my God, like the phone updated 2 days ago. Why are you still teaching me? And having these annoying ass pop-ups of all the new update shit I can do. Like, I don't care right now. I'm trying to do something else. So, hey Ronnie. Hi Madeline. Hi Tatiana. Hi Preston. Hi Talia. Hi Renea. How are you guys? Well, I'll make the announcement in a couple minutes about how we're going to do lives in December because we're going to do it a little differently. But in the meantime, hello to everybody. I'm just going to let you guys know my son has been homesick for the last 2 days, and I woke up this morning with my throat and ears starting to hurt. So, this isn't going to be a super duper long live because I'm not feeling the best. But we will get to any follow-up questions about the diddle bop situation. And I'll try to kind of hang on as long as I can. But I was going to say a couple announcements. First and foremost, if you wanted to book a reading with me, you have 2 more days to use code THANKS at checkout on psychicbellowlove.com. And the code THANKS will take 50% off any appointments. Also, we will have a Nicki Minaj live on Saturday in Patreon. That's the only place that we're doing Nicki content right now since the duds are plotting against her and we don't want to give them any kind of heads up to do anything to her. So if you want to join us over there, it starts at $3 a month. Patreon.com/psychicbellowlove. And if you want to join the higher tiers, that's where we talk about the Illuminati, a lot of the stuff my Patreons know that came out like in the Cassie lawsuit. I told them that Diddy was doing those things to her, like probably in the very beginning of the Patreon. I've talked extensively about what all of these people in Hollywood are really truly about and into and what the Illuminati really truly is. But on top of it, I went into great detail of the things that Mr. Diddlebop and Mr. Hamill are really about. So if you want to join us over there, patreon.com/psychicbellowlove, and all that information is in the pinned comment as well. And so going forward, since we only have a couple more days left in November anyways, I usually don't do any types of requests on YouTube unless it is a fundraising type of a thing. And so all of the December lives, and we will split it up that a couple will be in the morning and then a couple will be like more in the afternoon or evening. You will be able to make a donation of $5 and ask a celebrity question, and we will be donating the money to, we have 2 single moms that we're going to be helping out this holiday season. So all of the proceeds from those will be donated directly to them so they can make sure that their kids get a visit from Santa. So anyways, hey Shanice, how are you? Hi Lindsay, hi Mimi. Hey Preston, hey Can. Hi Donna. So, I'm sorry you have a cold too, Ronnie. When I called my son in sick yesterday, the lady didn't answer, so I had to leave a message. But today, I told her, you know, he's still kind of just really under the weather with this cold, so I didn't feel comfortable sending him in. And she said since last week, like, they've had a ton of kids out sick with the same virus. So something is going around. It's that time of year. And it's finally really cold in the mornings here. It's where I've actually had to finally turn the heater on because it was like 48 degrees in the house when I woke up this morning. So they finally got me to break the seal and turn on the heat. But yeah, I feel so bad for the kittens outside though. I'm like, oh my God. I wish, but our HOA would never allow it, unfortunately. I wish to God, because there's like a back fence area that just separates us from the neighborhood behind us that nobody uses or does anything with. And I wish to God that they would let us like put like up some like dog houses at least, so that way like they could have some place like to go away from the rain and the wind and the cold, and we could put like hay or shavings or blankets or something in there for them. But the HOA would never allow that to happen. And unfortunately, you know, I live upstairs, because it's like if I live downstairs, it would be easy for them to get on my patio and I would just put one out on my patio. But they don't seem to be the kinds of cats that like climb up on stuff. The most I've seen one of them like kind of climb up a tree, but that's about it. So that's why I was like, damn it, like if they like were like some of the other cats over here that'll get on everybody's patios, then I would put a dog house on my patio and make it all kind of cat friendly for them. But I just feel so bad for them because it is so cold in the morning and they're all like when I'm feeding them. Although, you guys, I feel like freaking Snow White every time I go outside now, or some kind of Disney princess, because even the ones that like don't care about getting pets like want to be all like around me. And so it's like everywhere I'm going, I have like 7 kittens following me meowing, and it's just like I feel like I'm living some Disney princess life. It's so funny. I was like, we just need some birds and like a little raccoon or something to like round it out and make it a real Disney thing. Yes, and shout out to the Bahamas. And speaking of the Bahamas, because that is where Dario originates from, we are planning on doing a video together. Hopefully we can kind of get on the phone for a bit this weekend and hammer out when both of us will be able to have the same time available so we can sit down and do it, because that's the thing. He's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. He still has a day job too. When he's available in the evenings, that's usually when I'm the busiest with my clients. So it's like our times that we're available to do stuff always end up being so opposite from each other, but we'll figure it out. Oh my goodness. You're at the post office? Oh, I'm sorry. I hate going to the post office so much. Honestly, I feel like I would rather go to the DMV than the post office. Snow tan, but without the tan. Oh my goodness. Listen, I'm not as pale as like the ring lights and the iPhone make me out to be. Not that I'm like dark skinned by any means, but I just feel like, especially like in the summer, because I do get a tan, I feel like it never like shows up on camera. Like when I do have a tan though, like I still always look like light skinned regardless. So I don't think it washes me out as bad as Miss Beyonce was with that super duper blonde wig. You guys, did you see that? I thought that was Khloe Kardashian. at first because it was in the middle of like, people kept posting all these like different like slides of everybody that was going to the Renaissance opening. And so one of the slides that I had just seen right before I, scroll down and see Beyonce's picture was Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble that were there. So I was like, oh, the whole Kardashian clan went. That's interesting. And then like, as I'm scrolling, I see the caption saying it was Beyonce. And I was like, oh my God, wait. And I like had to pull the picture back down and like zoom in on it. And I was like, oh, that is her. I seriously thought it was Khloe Kardashian. Because Khloe tends to wear her hair that like white, icy blonde, Daenerys Targaryen like hairstyles a lot. And it always washes Khloe way out and makes her look like she's freaking glow in the dark. So I think that hair color just makes everybody look pale as shit when they wear it though. Especially if you already lean towards like a lighter shade. I think that just like washes everybody out. Unless you have like much darker skin. Because you have to have like a lot of contrast between having such light hair. And then you add in like all the lights and then the silver background. And then she was wearing a silver dress. So all the like light from the lights was being reflected from the materials around. If I was her, I would have been like, y'all need to color correct this shit before I post it. Because I saw people having absolute fits about the fact that she is so Miss Formation, Black Power, Black Parade, the gift, and all of that. And then they're like, but she's out here cosplaying as a white woman. And then people were saying, but didn't you notice that she was doing all that with the blonde hair still securely attached to her head? And so then it just like, I don't know. I saw a lot of people getting upset about it and calling her a hypocrite. So it was kind of wild. But just like I've told you guys about Diddy, and I've said the same thing about Jay-Z too. When Diddy was trying, and you guys can go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Make sure you put question in front of it. Don't put anything vulgar because, YouTube will get mad about that. And also keep in mind that I have to be careful about how I answer a lot of these. So, but anyways, like I've always said, I'm like, they're out here, Diddy especially. Oh, drink Deleon because it's owned by a black man. Drink Ciroc, it's owned by a black man. Watch Revol, it's owned by a black man. But it's like, how are you benefiting the black community? Or is it just because you want us to support you, who happens to be a black man, but it isn't really about the black community? Because he's only ever done the bare minimum to give back and only is like a PR cover up when he does. Not really out here doing good by people. And if you guys haven't noticed a few things just about the industry in general, what are the things that we know, especially if you've ever studied or listened to any of the Black Panthers or Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam, that they have continually pointed out and preached that the CIA and the KKK worked together to infiltrate the black community and introduce guns, drugs, alcohol, and then there was always a concerted effort of how do we, poison that community to turn against each other so that way we don't have to be the ones that are holding them back anymore. They're doing it to themselves, which is their mindset and point of view, because I've extensively studied this stuff myself as well, both when I was getting my sociology education, but just on my own as well over the years. And so Diddy's, acting like he's doing a favor to the black community by selling alcohol, and I think that he had like a weed line that he was gonna do too. And it's like, okay, but then when you see and you look into like some of the stuff that, like, say for instance Kanye was trying to do, he was trying to figure out how to feed homeless people. He wanted to make like pod housing a thing so that way they could cover for like housing shortages. He was looking into helping people becoming more self-sustainable by farming and growing their organic vegetables and things like that. But those are the things that are never talked about when Kanye comes up. It's just Kanye called Pete Davidson skeet. Kanye's anti this. Kanye did this crazy thing. But then Jay-Z and Diddle Bob, who are always pushing alcohol, and now they want to do gambling and all the other things that are like, you know, known for causing addiction and problems and even violence. That's being, oh, look at what great businessmen they are. Look at how much respect we need to give to them. And then, you know, all the skeletons come tumbling out of the closet, and it's like, yeah, that's who we're supposed to be celebrating. But I'm just saying, you know, Diddy has always been such a hypocrite. And I point these things out because we've been conditioned to idolize these people just because they're known. But yet, you know, me and Dario have talked about before that it's not that they're really richer than us. It's just that they have more access to be more in debt than us and able to front like they're living some sort of a life. You know, they all still have fucked up love lives. They all still have crazy ass problems. So we need to stop idolizing these people and thinking that we need to be like them or we need to uphold them as some sort of role models or bastions of what we're supposed to do with our lives, because look at the evil shit that keeps coming out about all of these people. And this is a universal thing that's happening, that God is really taking the masks off and exposing these demons and devils for who they really are. So that way we can no longer be blinded and influenced by them. So, you know, pay attention. And I've been predicting this stuff. I said this on Instagram years ago that the mask was going to fall and everybody was going to see who these celebrities really are, either through them getting canceled and exposed for certain things or them just being like Doja Cat, you know, and so super in your face with the like devil worshiping stuff that we couldn't ignore it anymore. So, okay, let me see, guys. So hold the questions so I can get through the ones that you guys already put down. Beyonce's 87% European ancestry is coming out. Oh my God. She only embraced the Black culture when it benefited her. Why would you rock that with a silver dress, though? I know she's jealous of Kelly. Kelly's been eating lately. Listen, Kelly looks good as F. Like, she just gets better and better as she ages. I've always thought that Kelly was the prettiest out of all of the DC girls. I think all of them are pretty. You know, I don't think Beyonce's an ugly person. I think she has an ugly soul. But, you know, same thing with Megan. And that's why I just laughed at that party line, because I was like, I know me and Melly have said that a million times. Like, she is a beautiful girl, but she's got a darkness to that soul of hers, and she does evil things. So, and I feel the same way about Beyonce. So, he's been a sellout since the 90s. I think he's been a sellout since the damn day he was born. What are Jay-Z's thoughts about Diddy's situation, and is he scared about being canceled next? I mean, this is the thing that Spirit is saying. You guys have to remember that a big part of how they, like, you know, get everybody caught up in the industry, and even Kanye has talked about this, which, just side note on Kanye real quick, if you guys don't notice that there's a real pattern where Kanye does something, everybody gets mad at him when he does it. Or they're like, oh, Kanye's having another meltdown because he's out here telling the truth about shit again. Everybody gets their panties in a twist, and then a year later something happens and everybody's like, Kanye told us we owe him an apology. But it's always wash, rinse, repeat all over again, because I don't know if you guys remember, but like, because I think when Harley Pasternak texted him next, that kind of took all the heat off of like what happened with Diddy. But that week when, you know, Kanye was flipping out and the whole like anti-Semitic issue was going on, which by the way, free Palestine. Diddy had texted Kanye asking him where he was and saying pull up and he needed to talk to him. And Kanye said, you're not going to set me up. I'm screenshotting this. Everything you text me, I'm posting. And he said, I know those white men called you and told you to come put me in my place, do something illegal to me. You're a fed. And then Diddy started trying to turn it around, because you could tell from the original tone, it was, I'm going to beat the shit out of you at the very fucking least, when Diddy asked him where he was at. But then he started trying to change his tone, and he's like, as a black man, as your brother, you're breaking my heart, Kanye. I love you. I just want to give you a hug and pray with you. And I was like, oh, please, like, who are you going to be praying to, Diddy? Because we know it's not the God we serve. And Kanye posted all of it, and he told Diddy he was a fed and all this shit. And at the time, people were like, Kanye has to stop screenshotting and posting everything that people are sending him. And like, Diddy was just as a concerned elder in the community and feels like he's a brother to Kanye and he was trying to help. First of all, when has Diddy ever fucking done anything out of the kindness of his own heart? When has he ever been that man that people talk about when it comes to the industry that you can go to for advice, and that he's gonna sit there and hold you down when you're going through some shit? Because I've heard that about Denzel Washington. I've heard that about Tyler Perry. I've heard that about plenty of other people in the industry, but nobody's ever mentioned Diddy being one of those types of people, right? No, Diddy did it because some white men that are, you know, we probably don't even know who the hell they are, but they're richer than God, gave the call and said, go take care of that shit. And because Diddy's basically a mobster himself, he's like, all right, I'm on it. And was trying to go shut Ye up. And, you know, now, like, I see all those messages and those screenshots being recirculated all over Instagram, because everybody's like, oh, Kanye was right. Look at Diddy was trying to get him touched. But I'm just like, okay, when are we gonna start like maybe taking what Kanye says seriously a little bit, even if we don't 100% like want to, like at least explore that instead of just jumping to say he's crazy, because he's been exposing a lot of shit and we're all starting to see it. So, but the thing is that the industry, you know, like I said, Kanye says this too, that they prey on your ego and they build you up, you know, and then inevitably everybody gets torn down, but everybody's ego gets inflated to such a degree that, especially when they're still in a place where they're being successful and making a lot of money, because, you know, you have to remember, the whole industry is like a damn pyramid scheme. And if Jay-Z or Beyonce or whoever the celebrity is making money, there's 20 people behind them that are also making money off of whatever they make, and then 20 people off of all those 20 people. So as long as the people at the top are still getting fed, you know, and they're still, you're doing everything that you're supposed to for them, and you're at the height of your career, you think that you're untouchable, and oh, that'll never happen to me. That's because they mouthed off to the wrong person. That's because they fell off. That's because they didn't do what they were supposed to, but I'm not like that. So Spirit said he's kind of indignant about it, because he thinks that he's done more than enough, him and his wife, to stay in good with the elites, at least at this point, that it's not a worry of his. But don't worry, at some point, somebody else at the top will make that call and say, okay, we're tired of Jay-Z. Go ahead and take him down, and he'll have his own Diddlebot moment. So, Treasure, you can go listen to my Channel to Leah video, and that will answer your question on that one. How will his children be affected by all of this? Spirit saying Quincy and the girls actually will be fine, because Kim's spirit is going to make sure that they're okay. The problem is that Christian is way too much like his dad, so there's only so much that anybody can do. He's going to have his own kind of come to Jesus moment at some point and get scared enough that he doesn't want to continue on the same path as his dad. And Misa's going to make sure that Justin's okay. So I don't, I feel like they'll all still be able to have somewhat of their own careers away from Diddlebop. And don't be surprised if we don't see a lot more of Quincy and I'll Be Sure together. She invited all of Destiny's Child but Farrah. I know, right? Dude, me and one of the Barbs were laughing so hard one time, though, because, like, off cheat, and he even said it on his last song that he's the Beyonce of the group. And we were like, he's the Farrah Franklin of the group, where it's like, okay, people will forget about you in a few years, and we're going to see you on a bunch of reality shows where you're trying to defend that you were one of the Migos at one point. So I know. Well, that was Kanye's way of protecting himself. And I think people thought that Kanye was just flipping out and trying to expose people. But it's like, and I think maybe more people need to kind of take a step back and ask themselves too, like when it came to how Harley Pasternak, sent him those texts saying, oh, I'm going to make sure that you're back in zombie lands and you're not going to remember your play dates with your kids anymore and this and that. Like, why would somebody who's just supposed to be the guy that comes to your house and helps you work out feel comfortable to say things like that to anybody, number one, but somebody that's a celebrity and somebody that's a mega celebrity of a Kanye type of a status. Because regardless of how anybody feels or thinks about Kanye, he's basically legendary at this point. And that's not going to go away regardless of like how much the industry attacks him. Same thing with like Chris Brown. Chris Brown, they're always trying to cancel him, but he's just always going to be a part of the GP's love of music and stick around as a celebrity regardless of like whatever happens. They're not flash in the pan people that are easily forgettable. So, it's like, why would you feel comfortable telling a celebrity that, especially one that you used to work for or whatever? Because just like Kanye said too, that they place people all around you that you think are there as an assistant or whatever, but they're really like CIA or somebody that's sent there to like control you or spy on you or try to handle you in some way or another. So I know Christian really does seem like he worships his dad, so that's what really scares me. But let me just tell you guys, as much as we see in our hearing and things from the past are like being brought up all over again about all of the crazy shit that Diddle Bop has done, not just obviously in his romantic relationships, but in his personal life, his business, his everything. On top of all of that, Spirit has always said that Jay-Z is more evil than Diddle, and at least there's still some little sliver inside of Diddle that it still has a teeny tiny bit of a human soul left that Jay-Z does not have. So wait for his downfall. It will be epic and legendary. Yeah, that one, I don't know where that came from because I don't know. I just feel like that's something that people would have talked about already, you know, and maybe it would have been brought up again in the midst of all of this. But I don't know why people are suddenly saying that Justin isn't Diddle Bop's real son. You call him Shitty Butt Combs. I love that. So, all right, guys, you can drop more questions. Keep them to about Diddy. And remember, I don't feel that great today, so I was like, I'm gonna have to wrap it up in probably about 30 minutes because I think that's about how much longer I can last because I'm starting to get a headache. If you guys don't notice, every single person in this industry gets taken down in one way or another at some point. So they either have a hate train lobbed against them like Nicki and Kanye, or they get exposed for some shit, or they do something weird on their own accord that people all of a sudden are just like, fuck you, we don't like you anymore because we saw you act weird in that video. Like everybody has their, you know, moment at some point or another because these people all worship Satan. And what do we know about Satan? He will lie to you and promise you all kinds of things, but whatever he does give to you, he's going to take back 3 times. And at some point, he's going to, you know, take everything that he can from you and leave you destitute and destroyed without your soul and without any chance of redemption. So when these situations happen, it's just that's what you're seeing happen. Why was Joe Budden so unwilling to speak on this situation with Diddy and getting so upset with people like Milagro for calling him out? Are he and others still scared? Hell yeah, they are. Didn't you guys hear that Cassie and her family like supposedly went into witness protection or went away somewhere or moved or something like that, even though they got that settlement? And that's the other thing. I mean, if you guys didn't know, okay, so we saw the confirmation that he blew up Kid Cudi's car. There's a bigger part of that story that got left out of that. So during that time that Cassie was dealing with Kid Cudi, that was also the time that Kid Cudi and Kanye were making all that music together. So originally, Diddy thought that Cassie was dealing with Kanye, so he had Kanye's house ransacked. Because all of these Kanye like fan pages like pulled that shit up too, because they've been pulling up all the shit that they're saying that Diddy's done that's actually like been dirty towards Kanye for years. And then it was like literally like 3 days later, Diddy finds out that oh, it wasn't Kanye, it was Cudi. And then that was when he switched his focus to Cudi and threatening him and trying to blow up his car. So when you hear that somebody is willing to do things like that just to other artists within the industry, and obviously it's not anything that we should overlook that Diddy's the one that received the call from the white Jewish men that run Hollywood that said, you need to tell Kanye to shut the fuck up. So, of course, I wasn't surprised that anybody was scared to speak on that situation because they know that Diddy is powerful enough that if he wanted to, okay, I'm trying to think of how to say this, right? Like, say for instance, if it had only been the Cassie lawsuit, right? Diddy paid her off. Diddy could then, pull a bunch of strings, call the people that he knows, and get all kinds of positive to PR to cover that up. So there was no real guarantee that this was something because he has that level of money and power. I think for a lot of them, they thought, well, there's no guarantee that Diddy's truly going to get canceled because of this situation. So maybe we should just shut the fuck up because once the storm passes and then he's back in everybody's good graces, he's going to remember that we were on the Breakfast Club running our mouths speculating about this and then we're going to pay for it later. I think once people feel like no, Diddy's actually truly getting canceled and people really are done with him, I think that's when everybody will stop being scared and really start to open their mouths and share their opinions and their stories and all of that. But it's going to take, kind of a consistent pattern of a few more allegations before people get to that point. So, Jico Bleak, I already channeled Kim's energy for a reading that was only available in Patreon, so I'm not going to answer that because I already did a whole reading on it. Oh, Cassie's kids are so fucking cute, man. They look like little baby dolls. And her husband is very attractive, and he really seems to be extremely protective and loving towards her, which I'm happy that, because it's very easy to end up in another abusive relationship after being in one previously. So I'm really happy that it seems like she's found something healthy. People don't think Justin is his son because some people have said he doesn't look like Pissy Combs. I'm going to have to go look up the other guy's pictures and see what he looks like. Let me look into it, you guys, and I will get back to you on that one. Diddle is, okay, first of all, I don't think Diddle knows the word shame or has ever felt that in his entire life, you guys. Because that would require having some sort of a conscience and knowing that you did something wrong and feeling remorse for it. So I do not get that he's feeling remorseful or shameful or anything. I get being more really alternating between feeling emotionally exhausted and drained, being angry that this is happening, and then being paranoid about who else is going to come out and say some shit. And if you listen to the video I did yesterday, and I was not live yesterday, you guys, I just used the StreamYard live option so I wouldn't, because I knew it was going to end up being longer, so that I didn't have to wait for it to upload. But I said in there, you know, that they knew that lawsuits were coming, because you have to give somebody notice before you can file a lawsuit against them, number one, but also because he just knew that, you know, somebody was going to try to take advantage of that law and sue him and, you know, get their money. And so he just wasn't sure exactly like who was going to do that. But that's why Spirit's saying that he was in that space where it was like, let me pre-set up this good PR of, oh, look, Diddy wanted to give all his artists their publishing back suddenly. But on the sneak side of it, it was that, well, you have to sign these lifelong NDAs where you aren't going to talk about me, Christian, or my mom. Now, when Aubrey O'Day was talking about how that contract really looked and everything in order for them to get their publishing back, I was just like, why would it be that Aubrey O'Day from Danity Kane is not allowed to speak on Diddy's now adult son, who was what, maybe at most a toddler or a kindergartner when that show was on and she was a part of Danity Kane? Like, what the fuck could Christian have done that, like, they would have to speak on, because she wasn't around him all that much as far as I'm aware, and especially, you know, so it was just like, okay, so that obviously means that his mom and his son are involved in some like dirty shit too. And he's trying to make sure that people can't expose it. And I think it has to do with like business stuff, like putting assets in their name and laundering money type of stuff. My opinion, everything in this video is my opinion. For entertainment purposes only. Nothing we're saying is facts. Don't sue me for defamation. I don't have anything. So, how is Diddle Bop feeling? Oh, I already just answered that. Okay, and no more questions, guys, because I gotta start wrapping it up because my throat is like really starting to hurt. My head's throbbing. Oh, Quincy just released a song with his dad on it. I'll have to go listen. Will Diddle Bop continue? He's just gonna stop until he feels like, you know, oh, I need to lay low right now, obviously. But once he feels like, oh, the clouds have cleared a little bit, I mean, this is the thing that Spirit's saying. He's a very volatile person, and he really does not have, like, this is the funny thing, which makes me feel like he definitely is like a psychopath or a sociopath. But it's like, he wants to control everything and everybody around him, but he has absolutely no self-control when it comes to his own emotions. And he has a very volatile, you know, personality with lots of mood swings, and he gets angry very quickly. And I think that that's why he feels like he always has to control everything around him and everybody around him, because he can't control himself. So what he tries to do is control everybody to minimize the damage from his outbursts and mood swings, because it's like when he loses that control, he knows that's real career ending shit. And he needs to make sure that the people that he loses it on have just as much, if not more, to lose than him if they make an issue out of it. So, what do I think Lil Kim feels about all of this? Listen, I heard a rumor from somebody that I know who is in the industry, and everything that they've ever told me has panned out to be very, very correct. Allegedly, Diddy made payments to Kim, to Foxy, and Mary J. Blige and a few other artists that he wants to say nice things about him, or at least be quiet. So there was hush money payments going out, and the same person said that Jay-Z has been paying Foxy hush money for years so that she wouldn't go around and tell everybody about how when they were together when she was a teenager and blow up his shit like that. So that's why Foxy doesn't have to be stressed out about working and putting out music or doing anything other than sitting at home and being a mom, apparently. And I love me some Foxy Brown, so I'm just telling you guys, I'm not saying this is true or not true. I am not going to read on it and ask if it is or not just because of the legalities that could be behind that. I'm just sharing something that I was told by somebody who told me I could share it with you guys. So, he credited his son on a song that Mace did. Oh, yeah. Hey, Teddy. I know, he is sick. Yeah, I know the name Wolf Jones. I'll have to just look it up and look at the pictures, because sometimes I feel like you get more of a connection looking at pictures, and I don't want to say yes or no until I can really focus on that one. Tamara, it's my opinion, will always live rent free in my head. I say it just aloud to you. Dude, I see that meme in my head all the time. It's my opinion. He didn't even visit Kim in jail. Nope, he didn't. So Diddy doesn't do anything for his artists or anybody else. I mean, how does Diddy's former artists feel about what's going on? Oh, Spirit's saying that they're all just waiting because I told you guys there's going to be multiple surviving Diddle Bop documentaries, and some will be kind of a broader picture of like all of his scandals. Some of them will be more focused on like the stuff that he's done over time, you know, with his artists, and then other ones will focus more on like, you know, all of the women that he's dated and those types of things. But we will hear a lot from former artists coming up soon, and I also feel like Art of the Dialogue is probably going to have a shit ton of them on his channel too. So, which I wish people would stop going on Vlad and just go on Art's channel, because he asks much better questions. He doesn't come across as like a fucking Fed that's trying to get everybody indicted on something. You know, he doesn't say all the dumb shit that Vlad does. So it's just, I would rather see people go to that outlet, because I just feel like it's a much better interview overall. But, and no more questions anyways, guys, because I'm really not feeling good. It's like the longer I sit here, the worse I'm feeling. So I am going to go take some medicine and lay down. Hopefully none of you are getting sick. It's just that horrible time of year that everybody does start getting the colds and the flus and stuff. So take care of yourselves out there. I will be posting on the community tab as well as my Instagram the times that we will be doing the lives for December sometime this weekend, because if you were here in the beginning, I said that we're going to do some fundraising where all the lives are going to be, you guys can pay a donation to ask a celebrity question. So that way we can raise some money for some single moms that we're helping out for the holidays. So we'll do 2 of them in the evening and then 2 at the regular times. And I'll post about that on the community tab this weekend. And if you want to join us in Patreon, we will be having a Nicki Minaj live this weekend, and you can join for as little as $3 a month at the Barb's tier. And there's only 2 days left to use code THANKS for 50% off on psychicbellalove.com. So if you wanted to get a super discounted reading, use that code. And I love you guys. I will see everybody later.